thank you very much for your time and patience today. We are gathered to discuss the ever-evolving landscape here in Jefferson City in our Missouri State Capitol in the House of Representatives, and to discuss the formation of the Equality Conference. And so without further ado, I would like to welcome Representative Wick Thomas to discuss our update.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. My name is Wick Thomas, and I'm the state representative for District 19 in Jackson County. We held our first press conference back here in the House on February 3rd to announce our submission for a formal request for the recognition of the Equality Conference so that we can formally organize to assess proposed legislation and how it affects all of the communities in Missouri who are at the most risk of harm, as per the rules agreed upon in the House rules. Unfortunately, our caucus has still not been approved nor referred to the Administration and Accounts Committee as per the House rules. One of the purposes of the Equality Conference is to allow legislators to formally organize a purpose of the Equality Conference is to allow legislators to formally organize around a common issue, as long as there are 5 or more legislators who have signed on. We have far more than that. So we have many legislators who have signed on to join the Equality Conference and help us organize to help not only the gay and trans communities in Missouri, but also our immigrant communities, so many communities that are at risk of harm based on proposed legislation. And we would like to try and keep that in check in Missouri. Since the beginning of February, we have had hearings on over 20 bills specifically targeting the gay and trans communities that have been submitted by the Republican supermajority. Nearly 100 anti-gay and anti-trans bills have been introduced. These bills would force doctors to violate medical association and psychological association best practices. They would criminalize teachers and librarians, and they would violate our rights to privacy and our pursuit of happiness. In the Senate this week, we even learned that the attacks do not stop with the trans community, as gay marriage was voted against. With a same-sex marriage ban in the Missouri statute and Constitution, I worry that loving couples could be ripped apart if the Obergefell decision ever fell. We will not, however, fall prey to the divisive tactics that are put upon us by the Republican supermajority. Today we stand united in this country and in this state. Today we will once again be resubmitting our letter for formal recognition of the Equality Conference. There are legislators in Missouri working to swing the pendulum back toward justice, who hunger and thirst for righteousness in this state. Legislators who know that the path forward is built on the love of our neighbors and the welfare of our people. Today, we once again will attempt to formally organize for the betterment of the state that we love. Salus populi suprema lex esto. And with that, I will introduce Representative Reed, who would like to say some words as well.
Good afternoon. The beautiful thing about the country we live in is that it was founded on equality, on the notion that we're all created equal. I find myself fortunate enough to belong to a caucus of like-minded individuals who agree that we should continue that fight for all people to be treated equal. I'm proud to be a part of this because it's not just about one community, it's about all communities and equality for all of us. And since you're all here, we have the immigrant community. I have House Bill 811, which would license DACA recipients to be licensed professionally in the state of Missouri. Passing a bill like that gets us one step closer to treating folks equally and letting everyone have a chance to pursue the American dream. I believe we should be removing barriers instead of building walls. Thank you.
Second. Good afternoon. My name is Marty Joe Murray. I am the state representative of the 78th District in the city of St. Louis, and I would like to say some words on the Equality Conference. The creation of the Equality Conference is important now more than ever, especially given the recent passage of legislation rolling back diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts here in the state, coupled with the failure of an amendment to sunset a statute in the Senate that only recognizes marriage between a man and a woman. The removal of DEI policies and the persistence of outdated discriminatory statutes threaten to undo decades of progress in enduring marginalized communities have access to equitable opportunities and representation. This conference will serve as a critical platform to advocate for fairness, amplify underrepresented voices, and counteract the policies that seek to diminish inclusivity. By uniting around shared values and equity, we can work to protect the principles of justice and equity in all areas of our society. Even now more than ever, when we look at the impacts of that legislation that has been moving through the House and the Senate this week, I think this conference is important in terms of seeking out the impacts of what those bills will do to the Missourians here in our state. So with that, thank you.
We recognize that this is a very fraught time for Missourians who may be fearing impact from legislation. And with that, this caucus, this conference has organized to be the voice, to be the leaders, to be those folks who are going to be in the room having the conversations when those that are targeted can't be. And so we stand united. Many of our conference members are either in hearings or have left Jefferson City for the week. But we all stand united in this conference to bring forth equality for our constituents. And with that, we will take questions.
Have you had any discussions with the speaker about why your request to become a conference hasn't been put through the process?
We have. Did you want to talk about your interactions with the Speaker's office?
Yeah, so we have had discussions about it. I believe that we should be supported. I have yet to see any movement, and so I would like to see that. We will be, in addition to submitting our letter today to the Speaker's office, we will also be submitting it to the Administration and Accounts Committee, as well as to the House Journal, so that there is a record of it in the Journal.
So have Republican leaders expressly said we're hesitant to put this through the process?
I've not heard anyone say that. I still have hope that they will recognize that we are allowed to organize as per the House rules, and will start the conference through the process.
And forgive me because I haven't been following all the other conferences that have been proposed, but is this the only proposed conference that isn't moving through the process?
That is, yeah, you.
I mean,
So
go ahead.
Thank you. So caucuses need to be approved every 2 years, so when we go into every new session. At the moment, we are still waiting the Women's Legislative Caucus and the Irish American Caucus, which I am the founder. We are still in the renewal process. We have not completed, it was just an oversight on our part, but the concern is that the speaker could decide to just sweep away all caucuses and just do a blanket no, as Speaker Vescovo did before him, so there is precedent for that. So that is our concern, but we are also in the process, so we have not yet, the other caucuses have not yet been denied. We're just kind of in limbo.
Mechanically, process, what difference does it make to have the designation of a caucus rather than just that nothing's keeping you from meeting, assembling, holding press conferences? What difference does it make?
Just a group of people, yeah. The difference is the ability to advertise yourself as such, to speak with a recognized label, and to, it's more of a respect of recognition. That, sure, any 5 members of the body can assemble in my office and we can have the, the Office 105 caucus. But it's about the principle of this is a group that came together and wanted to make sure that their voices were heard and make sure that, that their interests were being well represented. And so we are allowed to have, within the House rules, we are allowed to have separate caucuses, and for the speaker to just deny them blanket would be telling.
As a caucus, do you have a response to controversy going on surrounding Carla May, Senator Carla May?
I'm gonna.
Yeah. Sorry, do you want to?
I mean,
After,
okay,
yeah.
go ahead.
After, I'd also like to respond to your question too. I think no one denies the importance of the long history of the Black Caucus in this body, or the amazing work of the Women's Caucus in this body. These caucuses and conferences also work to make sure that Missouri knows that people are fighting for them here. This is the people's house, and the people of Missouri should be represented. And that formal recognition is really important in making sure that Missouri knows that this legislative body, even with all of our disagreements and differences, is attempting to work for all of the different people in Missouri. And can you ask your question again?
Yeah. As a caucus, have you guys had a response or any reaction to the controversy surrounding Senator Carla May and folks she made?
Nothing that my response to that, and I'll let Lily or Representative Fuchs from District 80 speak more on that. What I think the focus is that there were a lot of Republicans who voted against the possibility of removing the same-sex marriage ban from Missouri statutes. That ban is not currently enforceable, luckily. I'm happily married for the last 2 years to the love of my life. But the message that it sends that anyone in this body would vote against that love and those marriages is troubling to me, and that is a large part of why we would like to organize formally.
Thank you for your question. Yes, as the representative in the senator's district and also as a constituent, very disappointing. It was extremely disappointing to see that no vote come down. I had a conversation. I did go to speak with the senator yesterday, and we talked for a while about her decision. And while, deeply held religious beliefs are a point of controversy, I think, in this building when it comes to fairness and equity, what was most disappointing was that she has been a champion for equity. I've been to promo urban air events. I have a picture with the senator on my desk of being at an LGBTQ event. She's, throughout the last how many years she's been in the House and the Senate, she has been a champion for us. And so in our conversations, that's what I said. And I said, and that's why it was so extremely disappointing, is because when we needed you the most, we were let down. And what we need now from our allies is staunch support, is over vocal. So I think there was an opportunity to say, my deeply held religious beliefs as a preacher of the gospel, which is what she told me, doesn't allow for me to vote for marriage equality. And because this community is under attack, I stand and continue to stand. And that is what we would have hoped the senator could have done in her continuation of championing LGBTQ issues. And unfortunately, that was not how that was handled.
Besides that bill you were referencing, you said that there was over nearly 100 anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ bills and legislation in the House and Senate. So is there any other ones that stick out like sore thumb, like the one that you mentioned, or you guys all mentioned, I guess?
I mean, so the Senate this week heard a bill that would define sex, gender, eliminating gender, defining sex. The Senate heard a bathroom bill this week that would prevent trans people from using bathrooms, schools. In the House, I mean, the DEI bill, what else that we debated today on the floor, or that we voted on the floor? The EO, the executive order that the governor signed. I mean, we could just keep going. What else? In the House, we heard the sunsets on sports and healthcare. There's probably others that I am not recalling at the moment, but it's a wide range from bathrooms to sports to healthcare to actually defining things in statute. You? Yeah.
I think it's incredibly unfortunate that we have almost 100 anti-gay and anti-trans bills that have been introduced. We've had hearings on over 20 of those already. So they are moving forward. These divisive identity politics that the Republican supermajority is thrusting upon us are, in my mind, a distraction from the bills that are passing. We heard about a pregnant woman database that had a hearing this week. We today voted on a bill that would essentially hide pesticide regulations. We voted on the St. Louis. So we voted on the state takeover of the St. Louis Police Department. We have voted on a elimination of capital gains tax. We have not been working for the people of Missouri. This has been used as a distraction from important issues, and unfortunately, it seems like a lot of very rich interests are getting whatever they want passed, and we are being used as a prop and a scapegoat in that work, and we won't allow it anymore.
Can I add one more thing?
Yes, please.
Representative Walshmore, Representative Fuchs, myself, Representative Thomas, and Representative Marty Joe Murray, we each have bills that remove barriers for hardworking Americans and promote equality in the state of Missouri. I know a number of folks have made calls, wrote letters, and sent emails to the Speaker's office since there's cameras around. I would encourage more folks to write the Speaker's office and encourage him to refer these bills to committee because they're deserving of the people's time and they make Missouri a better place to live. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Truly, thank you for being here.